Joining me now is Neil Woodyer, CEO of Aris Mining. Thanks for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me here. Appreciate it.
Now, the goal at Aris Mining is to be Latin America's next million-ounce gold producer. Can you give our viewers a little reminder, a little refresher on the rapid growth that we've seen at Aris over the past, say, 2.5 years or so since you started?
Okay, yeah, we started about 2.5 years ago. And since then, we've acquired 2 gold mines and we're producing 230,000 ounces a year. And we're on track to produce about 400,000 ounces a year in 2026. We're doing this by expanding the Marmato mine, which we've now started the construction of the lower mine. That's about $280 million. So those two, that's on track now. In addition to that, we also entered into a joint venture on the Soto Norte project, where we own 20%. We have the right to go to 50%, and we are the operators. So we have one current under construction, and we have a pipeline as well, in addition to the 2 mines that we're operating.
Now, Aris recently released Q3 production numbers, which saw Segovia showing record production. And it's been said that Segovia is kind of a cash machine in a way. It's really humming. It's got sustainable and significant cash flow. Can you remind us of the strategy whereby you're able to use cash flow from Segovia to fund other parts of the operation?
Okay, well, that was one of the attractions when we acquired or merged with Gran Colombia, was the fact that Segovia has been producing about 200,000 ounces a year. And this last 12 months, I mean, it had an EBITDA of about 150 and it generated about 85 million of cash. And it was a very good asset to align with, because we had Marmato, we have to go through the capex of building Marmato. We do have the capital to do that, but it also gives us an extra assurance. So we've been looking at Segovia, as you say, as a source of cash over the next few years. And we've also decided that one of the things they have been doing very well before we acquired it was the small miner program. In fact, about 45% of Segovia's production comes from small mines and our partners on the contract mining side. So we're only mining ourselves about 55%. And the idea of the small miner in Colombia is extremely important, as 85% of the gold produced is illegal gold coming from small mines who don't have tenements or really illegal mining. So we've aligned ourselves with that Segovia had been doing that before, and we're taking that skill set and transferring it both to Marmato and also to Soto Norte. This gives us a much stronger relationship with the community. It enhances our social license. So these are the things we've taken out of Segovia, ongoing cash flow of significance, and also the small mining approach that we're developing. So it's very much a core asset at the moment. We will, as I say, bring Marmato on and we'll be 400,000 ounces within a couple of years.
Now, you mentioned Marmato and getting approval to mine the lower part. What's the overall significance of that to the growth profile? And can you also take us through the expected timeline to production?
Well, we've actually started now. We expect the Marmato mine to produce about 160,000 ounces a year. As I said, it's 280 million of capex. So 2026, we should be fully commercial and have our production going then. It's a relatively simple operation. It is below the smaller mine that we have at the moment, which produces about 25 to 30,000 ounces, which is a very, very narrow mine. The lower mine, Marmato, we'll be able to operate it much more as a commercial large-scale mine. And we're putting our own plant in, new mine. As I say, it's an 18-month operation away for us now.
Now at Soto Norte, you're planning to build a state-of-the-art, sustainable underground mine with all-in sustaining costs of somewhere around $500 an ounce, if not below that. What are some of the updates there?
We took over operatorship around about 9 months ago. We are preparing a new ESIA submission probably round about the end of the year, give or take. We are currently looking at the economics, because over the last 2 years, the mine has been made much sounder from an environmental point of view, but that's added on cost. So we're reassessing the cost at the moment so that we can put the whole project together. It is an extremely exciting project. It has been a long time in the process of getting approval. We think once we put the submission in, it's probably another 18 months. And it's very important that we recognize a few things when we do this. It's very important, as the government says, that we're in a mining area. We are in a mining area. It's very important that we have the community support. We do. It's very important, in addition to that, that we have the small miner support, which is the essence of the small miners program. So without these things, you're just not going to get there. But we were able to get our extension in Marmato. We had a 30-year extension on our mine there. We were able to get our license just a couple of months ago because we work with the community, we work with the agency. So we're applying those same things, and at the same time, making sure that the economics and the mine we're building is the optimal mine for the situation today. So I think it's a few months off and we'll be able to make our submission.
And then, Neil, in Guyana at Toro Paru, you're reevaluating that project, and you believe you may have the possibility of a large open pit mine. Are you any closer to making any decisions there?
When we took over, we wanted to make sure that the resource was sound. We were building the right mine. We did a lot of work on the resource. We reduced the resource from about 8 million to 5.3, I think it is. We also stopped a lot of the work that was going on then just to reassess and make sure we're going in the right direction. We are still in that process, and I think it's 3 or 4 months before we really know what we should be doing with the Guyana project.
All right. Now, Neil, with the Aris Mining itself, I look at a lot of different companies, meet a lot of people, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I have to say it's difficult to find a company that has as many people of stature and heavy hitters in the mining sector, such as yours, including yourself, with all your long history and successes. You've got Frank Juster as the strategic advisor, Ian Telfer as the chairman, Peter Maroney among the board members. So what is it about Aris and the assets that ticks all the boxes seemingly for a lot of these people who are, as I said, very successful in building companies?
Well, I think one of the first things is we've, as you say, we've been long in the business. We've all known each other for a long time and have done various things with each other on one side of the table or the other side of the table. So first of all, there's a large element of trust between everybody. So that's always a huge thing. And because everybody knows each other, they understand where they're coming from. And I think when we were putting it together, the management team was essentially together through Endeavour Mining and through Lear Gold. So we have a management team that knows itself, is very experienced, and has done this, followed the same strategy twice before that we're following now. And what the board give us in addition to that is a lot of experienced strategic thinking. Most of management is involved in day-to-day, making sure the thing is done, optimizing, building, those sorts of things. We've got a great corporate finance team for this other side of our strategy, which is the buy and build. And it's the same team that we've been with through Endeavour and through Lear Gold. So the board is essentially a very strong strategic board that understands mining, because in addition to the mining expertise, we also have very strong Colombian expertise on the board. Monica de Graaf was Minister of Justice for Colombia for quite a long time a few years ago. Herman was Minister of Mines. Serafino's been involved in Colombia. So we have a strong industry-based board with experience and a strong strategic board of senior Colombians. So putting that together is board meetings can be quite fun at times. I enjoy them.
I'm sure. Now, Aris Mining recently listed on the New York Stock Exchange, American Exchange. Have you seen any tangible evidence of increased visibility or awareness? What kind of feedback are you getting from investors?
Essentially extremely positive. A lot more questions, a lot more phone calls. We probably doubled volume in a relatively short period of time, and I think we are attracting a lot of questions, input from potential investors. So I think, yes, it seems to have been definitely the correct move for us to make, albeit very early stages at the moment. Hopefully it'll give us access to a bigger base, hopefully give us much more liquidity in our stock.
And lastly, Neil, it's been said that Aris Mining is a bit of a show-me story, an execution story, and that it's undervalued to peers based on various metrics. So what would you say are the key factors, the key catalysts over the next 18 months or so, and you've touched on a few of them, that could really significantly rewrite the stock?
We had a hiccup in the first quarter at Segovia, which was due to a fire that we had in the previous quarter, and also due to a shortage of explosives within Colombia. That's now behind us. We're back to where we should be. And in fact, we just had a record gold pour. So Segovia is back. It has to maintain that steady base. People would expect to see that. We can't miss targets. So that stability has returned. It has to be demonstrated to have returned. We also have to show that we're making progress at Segovia. At the lower mine at Marmato. I think we have to show further development on our very, very important small miner program. And we have to show that we have a clear strategy forward on Soto Norte. I think those are the main short-term criteria that people will be looking for from us to look at the stock value and make their own additional assessments.
All right, Neil. Well, thank you very much for the insight and the update today. We'll be following, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity of talking to you.
Neil Woodyer, CEO of Aris Mining. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.